Some cars from the 1990s were born legends, icons that still draw crowds at car meets and auction blocks. And then there were these, the ones that promised thunder but delivered drizzle. They looked mean, sounded tough, and were marketed like muscle machines, but in reality, they were sluggish, clumsy, and in some cases, straight up embarrassing. Today, in 2025, these 20 cars remind us that not everything with a spoiler and stripes deserves the muscle car badge. 20. 1993 Chevrolet Lumina Z34. On paper, the Lumina Z34 seemed like a decent attempt at a sporty coupe. It had a 3.4-liter V6 producing 210 horsepower, not terrible for the time. But once you hit the road, disappointment set in. The heavy chassis killed any sense of urgency, the steering felt vague, and the suspension that was supposed to feel sport-tuned felt confused. The Getrag manual was clunky, and the optional automatic shifted like it was half asleep. Even family sedans could outpace it. By today's standards, it's a reminder that style without substance doesn't age well. 1991 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP. Pontiac sold the Grand Prix GTP as a muscle-inspired performance car, but it struggled to live up to the hype. Its 3.4-liter V6 also made 210 horsepower, but the car felt lethargic with soft acceleration and lackluster throttle response. The suspension was too soft for spirited driving, steering lacked precision, and cornering was more float than fierce. Even the manual transmission felt clumsy. It was a dressed-up family car pretending to be a performance machine, and by 2025, that act isn't fooling anyone. 18. 1994 Chevrolet Camaro V6. The fourth-generation Camaro had the looks, but its base V6 model was a letdown. It made around 160 horsepower, barely enough to get its heavy body moving with enthusiasm. The switch to an electronic 4L60E transmission and new engine management system made tuning a headache. Reliability issues popped up with the new sensors, and even the gauge cluster teased traction control before the feature was available. It did 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 8.5 seconds, which was mediocre then and embarrassing now. If you wanted a Camaro, this was the one to avoid. 17. 1995 Dodge Avenger ES. The Avenger ES looked like it belonged on a racetrack, but drove like a grocery getter. Its 2.5-liter V6 produced a meager 155 horsepower, good for a sluggish 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 9.1 seconds. The automatic transmission was slow to downshift, the suspension was firm but uninspiring, and the tires gave up grip early in corners. Braking was decent, but handling wasn't sharp enough to make up for the lack of power. Even interior ergonomics were flawed. Taller drivers found the gauges blocked by the steering wheel. It was sporty in shape only. 16. 1994 Pontiac Firebird V6. Muscle car styling? Absolutely. Muscle car performance? Not even close. The base Firebird's 3.4-liter V6 made just 160 horsepower, making acceleration feel lazy and uninspired. The 5-speed manual gearbox was clunky, and the automatic felt ancient. Despite rear-wheel drive and independent suspension, handling was dull thanks to excessive weight and sluggish response. Even the cabin felt cheap with plastic panels that squeaked and cloth seats that wore out quickly. Safety tech was limited too. Traction control wasn't even an option. 15. 1993 Ford Mustang Fox Body Finale. The final year of the Fox Body Mustang was more nostalgia than performance. The 5.0-liter V8 made 205 horsepower, solid in the 80s, but underwhelming by the early 90s. Most changes were cosmetic, and even the SVT Cobra's bump to 235 horsepower wasn't enough to make it feel competitive. The Cobra R stripped out the back seats and air conditioning to save weight, but still used the same engine. By 1993, the platform was outdated and felt more like a relic than a rebel. 14. 1990 Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe. Supercharged engine? Check muscle car thrills? Not so much. The Thunderbird SE's 3.8-liter V6 made 210 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque, but the car's massive weight crushed any sense of agility. It leaned heavily in corners, lacked high-end power, and felt sluggish above 4,000 RPM. Inside, it was more luxury cruiser than performance coupe, and aftermarket upgrades did little to wake it up. It had the right ingredients, but the recipe never came together. 13. 1999 Mercury Cougar. The Cougar looked like a futuristic sports coupe, but once inside, reality hit hard. The seats were poorly designed, causing discomfort on long drives. The 2.5-liter V6 was adequate but plagued by odd idle issues, jumping between 2,000 and 3,000 RPM at stoplights. Visibility was poor due to oddly shaped mirrors, and reliability was questionable. Wiring issues and frequent breakdowns were common. Despite its looks, it was more frustrating than fun. 12. 1996 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Z34. A Monte Carlo should roar, but this one barely whispered. In 1995, Chevrolet ditched rear-wheel drive for front-wheel drive, stripping away its muscle car DNA. Despite its racing heritage, the Z34 was more boulevard cruiser than backroad bruiser. Styling was subdued, power was unimpressive, and handling was average at best. It wasn't a terrible car, but it was a far cry from the Monte Carlo's glory days. 11. 1994 Dodge Stealth ES. The Stealth ES was packed with high-tech features for its time: all-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, adjustable suspension, and even a selectable exhaust system. On paper, it sounded like a cutting-edge performance machine, but once behind the wheel, the experience told a different story. The car felt heavy and somewhat disconnected from the road, with all those advanced systems doing little to enhance real-world driving feel. The four-wheel steering barely made a noticeable difference. The adjustable exhaust was more gimmick than game-changer, and the twin-turbo V6, while promising on spec sheets, never delivered the raw, engaging power enthusiasts expected. Instead, driving the Stealth felt more like operating a machine than enjoying a performance car. It was innovative, no doubt, but in all the wrong ways, prioritizing tech over driver engagement. Today, it's remembered as a car that had everything it needed to be great, but never figured out how to make it truly exciting. 10. 1995 Ford Probe GT. The Probe was intended to replace the Mustang, and that says a lot about how far it missed the mark. Its 2.5-liter V6 wasn't bad, but the front-wheel drive layout and lack of V8 power alienated muscle car fans. Styling updates were minor, features were removed over time, and interior changes felt half-hearted. Sales plummeted, and by its final year, fewer than 33,000 units were sold. It was a car with an identity crisis that never recovered. 9. 1993 Pontiac Sunbird GT. Pontiac tried to make the Sunbird sporty, but its aging platform and weak performance made it a tough sell. Even turbocharged versions struggled to impress, and the car's build quality and handling were far behind rivals like the Honda Civic C. By the mid-1990s, it felt like a relic, and not the good kind. 8. 1995 Chevrolet Cavalier Z24. The Z24 trim promised excitement but delivered disappointment almost right away. Its 2.3-liter quad-4 engine produced about 150 horsepower, but it was noisy, rough, and not very refined, with vibrations that made driving feel unpolished. Despite its sporty looks, acceleration was underwhelming and handling felt vague thanks to soft suspension tuning. Inside, cheap plastics and rattling panels made the cabin feel low rent, while poor safety ratings and frequent reliability issues, like head gasket and electrical problems, frustrated many owners. It might have looked quick sitting still, but once on the road, the Z24's flaws were hard to ignore, leaving it remembered as more style than substance. 7. 1995 Pontiac Sunfire GT. Sharing much of its DNA with the Cavalier, the Sunfire GT suffered from the same problems: cheap materials, mediocre performance, and frequent mechanical issues. Electronics were unreliable and the driving dynamics were dull. Even with the GT badge, it was more of a budget compact than a muscle-inspired ride. 6. 1991 Dodge Daytona IROC. The IROC name had pedigree, but the Daytona couldn't live up to it. Even with a 3.0-liter V6, power was underwhelming and handling felt imprecise. Turbo models were better, but most versions were underpowered and uninspiring. By the 90s, it was hopelessly outclassed by more modern rivals. 5. 1997 Cadillac Catera. Cadillac tried to attract younger buyers with the Catera, but ended up alienating everyone. Based on an Opel Omega, it lacked the performance and refinement expected from the brand. The 3.0-liter V6 was underpowered, reliability was poor, and the handling was uninspired. The Caddy that zigs became the Cadillac that sat in the shop. 4. 1996 Ford Aspire. Ford's attempt at a small, sporty car fell flat with the Aspire, a name that sounded ambitious but ended up ironic. Under the hood sat a modest 1.3-liter engine pushing out around 63 horsepower, a figure that struggled to get the lightweight hatchback moving with any urgency. Acceleration was so sluggish that merging onto highways felt more like a calculated risk than a confident maneuver. Despite its featherweight design, the Aspire's suspension and chassis tuning offered little feedback or excitement, making it feel dull and disconnected on twisty roads. Even basic driving tasks lacked the spirited personality Ford had hoped for. Braking was mediocre. Body roll showed up early in corners, and the steering felt vague and imprecise. Inside, the no-frills cabin was utilitarian to a fault, with few features and plenty of cheap plastics that reminded buyers this was a budget car first, a sporty car second. Over time, it became a running joke among enthusiasts, a car with a bold name and cheerful looks that simply never delivered the muscle, agility, or attitude its segment demanded. Today, the Aspire is remembered less as a performance car and more as proof that lightweight alone doesn't equal fun. 3. 1991 Mercury Capri XR2. The Capri XR2 tried to combine European roadster fun with American muscle appeal, but reliability issues and weak performance kept it from succeeding. Its turbocharged four-cylinder wasn't enough to offset leaky tops, failing alternators, and constant maintenance headaches. It was fun when it worked, but that wasn't often enough. 2. 1994 Chevrolet Beretta Z26. The Beretta Z26 was supposed to be Chevrolet's compact performance hero, but it was a middle-of-the-road coupe with uninspiring handling and forgettable styling. The quad-4 engine was rough, and the car's interior quality was disappointing. It sold in decent numbers, but left little lasting impression, and by 2025, it's nearly forgotten. 1. 1997 Pontiac Grand Am GT. At the top of this list sits a car that perfectly shows how far reality can fall from marketing hype. The Pontiac Grand Am GT arrived with bold cladding, aggressive styling, and badges that screamed performance. But under the hood, the illusion quickly faded. Its 3.1-liter V6 made about 155 horsepower, barely adequate for the mid-90s and sluggish compared to rivals offering far more power with ease. As sharper, faster imports arrived, the Grand Am GT quickly fell behind, left sitting on used lots and forgotten by enthusiasts. By 2025, it stands as a reminder that bold looks might attract buyers, but without real performance, a car's legacy fades fast. The 1990s gave us icons like the Dodge Viper, Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, and Toyota Supra. But these 20 machines, they're the other side of the story. Overstyled, under-engineered, and often overhyped, they serve as a reminder that not every muscle car with a spoiler and a stripe is worth remembering. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and share which 90s flop you think was the worst of them all.